My parents paid for my sister's entire college, every fee, every expense, everything she needed to succeed. But when it came to me, they said they couldn't afford it. And I remember sitting there trying to understand how the same parents could treat us so differently. While my sister looked at me like she had already won, they thought I would struggle without their help, maybe even fail. But what they didn't know was that I had already started building something on my own, something I never told anyone about. And 4 years later, when everything finally came to light, the same people who ignored me were suddenly the ones calling me again. So if your own family chose someone else over you, would you prove them wrong or just walk away? My name is Emily, and this story really begins the moment I realized I was never truly treated the same in my own family. Because growing up everything looked normal from the outside, but inside it always felt like there was a difference I couldn't explain. My younger sister was always the one my parents focused on, the one they believed in, the one they were proud of, and over time I started noticing how easily things came to her: support, attention, opportunities, all of it, while I was left to figure things out on my own. And for a long time I told myself it didn't matter, that I would be fine either way, but deep down I knew something wasn't right. I just didn't realize how unfair it really was until one night at the dinner table, when a simple conversation about college turned into the moment that changed everything for me. That night at the dinner table, everything felt normal at first. My parents were smiling, my sister looked excited, and I could tell something important was coming. Then my dad finally said it, telling her not to worry about anything because they would pay for her entire college, tuition, housing, everything she needed. And my mom agreed instantly, like it had already been decided long ago. My sister just smiled like she expected it, like this was always her future, and I sat there quietly, listening, waiting for them to turn to me, to ask about my plans, to say they would support me too. But instead my mom looked at me and said things would be different for me, that they couldn't afford to do the same twice. And my dad didn't even look up when he added that I would have to figure things out on my own. And just like that, in one simple moment, her future was fully secured, and mine was left completely uncertain. I tried to stay quiet in that moment, pretending like it didn't affect me, but something inside me wouldn't let it go. So I finally asked them why it was different for me. And for a second the room went silent, like they had been expecting that question. Then my dad sighed and said something I will never forget. He told me that my sister earned it, that she was more focused, more responsible, and that she deserved that kind of support. And my mom agreed like it was the most obvious thing in the world, and hearing that word, deserved, felt heavier than anything else, because it made it sound like I didn't, like everything I had done was never enough. I tried to explain myself, tried to tell them I had plans too, that I was serious about my future, but they weren't really listening anymore. Their decision had already been made, and when I looked at my sister, she didn't even try to hide it this time. There was a small smile on her face, quiet but confident, like she had already won and I had already lost. And in that moment I stopped trying to prove anything, because deep down I realized something much worse. This was never really about money at all. That night I didn't argue anymore. I didn't try to convince them or prove my point, because for the first time I understood that nothing I said was going to change their decision. So instead of fighting, I did something they didn't expect. I agreed. I nodded quietly and told them it was fine and that I would figure it out on my own. And the moment I said that, I could see the relief on their faces, like the problem had just disappeared, like they no longer had to think about me at all. My sister didn't say anything, but that same confident look was still there, like she already knew how this would end. But what none of them realized was that I wasn't giving up. I was stepping back, because from that moment on I stopped expecting anything from them, stopped waiting for their support, and started focusing on myself, on building something quietly, without telling anyone, without asking for help, just me and a plan that I kept completely to myself, a plan that would take time, but one day would change everything. The next few months were some of the hardest of my life, because while my sister was preparing for college, shopping for new things, talking about her future like everything was already planned out, I was doing the complete opposite. I was trying to figure out how I was going to survive on my own. I took a part-time job, then another one, working long hours just to save enough money. And most days I came home completely exhausted, too tired to even think straight. But I kept going because I knew no one was coming to help me. There were nights when I doubted myself, when I started wondering if maybe they were right about me, if maybe I wasn't good enough. But every time that thought came into my head, I remembered that dinner table, the way they looked at her, and the way they didn't even look at me. And slowly that pain turned into something else, something stronger. I started learning new skills on my own, building something quietly without telling anyone, and step by step, without anyone noticing, my life started changing in ways they never expected. For years passed, and during that time everything slowly started to change. My sister graduated exactly the way everyone expected her to. My parents were proud of her and never missed a chance to talk about her success, sharing her achievements with friends and relatives like it proved they had made the right choice. And I stayed completely quiet. I didn't post anything, didn't share what I was doing. I just kept working, day after day, building something that didn't look like much at first, but kept growing over time. And the more it grew, the less I cared about their approval, because for the first time in my life I was creating something for myself, not for them. But no matter how quiet you stay, there always comes a moment when what you've been building can't stay hidden anymore. And when that moment finally came, it didn't just surprise them, it completely shocked them. It happened on a normal afternoon, nothing special, nothing planned. I was just sitting in my apartment working like I always did when my phone suddenly started ringing. And when I looked at the screen I saw my mom's name, which felt strange because she almost never called me anymore. So I picked up, and the moment I heard her voice I could tell something was different. She sounded confused, almost nervous, and she told me that we needed to talk, and right then I knew they had found out. So, later that day I went back to the same house, the same dining table where everything had changed years ago. But this time the energy was completely different. No one was smiling, no one looked confident anymore. My dad couldn't even look at me. My sister sat there quietly without that same expression she used to have. And then my mom finally said it, that they didn't know I had built all of this on my own. And I didn't answer right away. I just stood there looking at them, because this was the same place where they once decided I wasn't worth investing in. And now they were looking at me like they didn't even recognize me. And then my dad finally spoke again, his voice softer than I had ever heard before, telling me they had made a mistake. And hearing that word after all those years didn't feel the way I thought it would, because at that point, I wasn't angry anymore, I wasn't hurt anymore, I had already moved on. I didn't say much after that. There was no argument, no long explanation, just a quiet moment where everything was already understood. My parents tried to explain themselves, saying they didn't realize what they were doing and that they thought they were making the right decision at the time. But the truth was it wasn't just one decision, it was years of choosing her over me, years of making me feel like I wasn't enough. And no apology could really erase that. My sister tried to speak too, but this time there was no confidence in her voice. That look she used to have was completely gone. And I stood there for a moment looking at all of them before I finally said the only thing that mattered, that I was okay now and that I had figured everything out on my own. And for the first time those words didn't hurt, they felt powerful. Because I wasn't that same person anymore. I wasn't waiting for their approval or their support. I had already built my own life without them. And as I walked away from that house I realized something I never understood before. Sometimes the people who doubt you the most end up proving you right. And now I keep wondering, if you were in my place, would you forgive them after everything? Or would you just move on and never look back?